just started living life and being bold. Living life and being bold. Living life and being bold. Don't give up. You just started living life and being bold. Never know what the future holds. If I plan strategically, I can get it right. I'm gonna go where the winners go. Sailing ain't an option, no, it ain't in my blood.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mondays Beyond the Mic. This is the place where we talk about relationships that we can get better understanding for both men and women so we can learn and grow together. Somebody say together. Yes, I still feel like Sunday church. All right. I want to say thank you to our regular viewers and welcome to our new viewers. And we ask, and you'll hear me ask throughout the show, that you like, which means I just need you to go like that, press the like button, share and subscribe, and give us a super chat. We really love super chats, as that one gesture means much to Mondays Beyond the Mic and Bravo with Sheila. So let me explain why it means so much to us. Because if you like this show, and you like the content in which we are giving you on Bravo with Sheila Network, it helps to push the show further into these YouTube streets so that more people can get the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding that you are receiving. So we know sharing is caring. So we're sharing on tonight. We do have some disclaimers. We are sharing from personal experience, although we are professionals, and we're bringing professionals on the show to talk about things, but just to let you know, as our disclaimer. And then we have rules. Everything has rules, ladies and gentlemen. What are our rules? Respect. Number one. What's the second rule? Respect. And what's the third rule? Respect. I would like to state that if disrespect is displayed in the chat or on the platform, we will have guests removed. And we don't want to do that because we all want to learn and grow together. That is the point. So I know Anae, she said, hey, Dr. Elaine, hey, Anae, and we thank you, Anae, for all that you do. I can't say it like Lady Dawn B, but thank you for being the greatest moderator in these YouTube streets. And as she says, and Bravo with Sheila, you belong to us and no one else can have you. We are selfish about Anae. All right. So we just like to say thank you tonight. We're going to have a conversation. And what is tonight about? I'm going to tell you later, but I want you to know this. This Monday is our first Monday in the month of August, right? These months are going by really quickly. So as we say, welcome to the month of August. August is the 8th month. So when we know anything about numbers and even connecting that 8 is the number of new beginnings. It represents also introspect, and it also represents self-assessment. So say it with me. The teacher in me is coming out. Introspect and self-assessment. So tonight we're going to have a discussion about what's in your wallet. Right. You didn't know where that was coming from, but we are interested in the person being whole. Us as individuals, our viewers, as being whole. So we're coming together to learn tonight. And I believe tonight's show will allow us to reflect on where we are and how we show up honestly for ourselves and future generations. Because what's in your wallet matters. And why do we say? Because a lot of times people will say, even in relationships, as long as we love each other. Well, I have never, ever seen love pay bills unless that was your last name. Come on, somebody. So we are here not to judge, but we are definitely here to be better together. That is the whole goal. And I think Lady Dawn B is here. So we're going to give her a minute because, she's so beautiful and she's just getting herself, all beautified back there before she shows up for you. So we're going to say hey to Lady Dawn B as she comes on. But remember, tonight we're talking about what's in your wallet. You right now, if I were you, I would call somebody and say tonight. Say it with me. Tonight is going to be a night like none other because we are talking about some money matters. and we are speaking about what is in our wallet. Lady Dawn B, what's in your wallet?
One day closer to Friday. It's in there.
Monday closer to Friday, but she didn't hear me because I said we talk about what's in your wallet. What's in your wallet? So we want to make sure that it's more than just lint in our wallets on tonight. We
I
want to
did. I
make
heard you.
sure it's
That was my answer.
oh, so she heard me. It's one more day closer to Friday. Maybe that means it's gonna be payday. So that'll be what's in her wallet on Friday. Will you work again? All right. So we just want to have the opportunity to welcome our guests. We see and they said, hey to Lady Dawn B. And we're going to let Lady Dawn B. I said it to her, but no one can say it like Lady Dawn B. as she gives her hello to Anae. She blew you kisses, Anae. And then we have, uh,
Well, y'all know what it is. They, they know. They
they
know what it
already
is.
know.
What is it? She's the greatest moderator. Right. She's the greatest to ever do it in these YouTube streets. And she belongs to us.
See, Anae, I couldn't do it
See?
justice. I tried, but Lady Dawn B has that. So tonight, as we talked about, we're going to discuss what's in your wallet.
There
We
you
have a
go.
guest. We have someone. So it's not like just me
Ta-da.
talking and Lady Dawn B and us just talking about money, but we're taking it to the next level and we're bringing in the professional that can do it only the way that he can. And at this point, I'm going to let Lady Dawn B take it away as she introduce our guest. But before she does that, do that. So look at me. Before that is done, I'm going to ask that you hit that like button, please, please, and thank you. Just go like that because it means much to us on Mondays Beyond the Mic. If you're joining us for the first time, if you're in the bleachers, if you are in the expensive seats, please hit. It's free 99. All we need you to do is hit that like button. Please and thank you. Take it away, Lady Dawn B.
Well, thank you, Dr. E. Tonight, our special guest is James Herbert Hunt, and he is a wealth management advisor. As a financial professional, he is committed to helping people just like you and me, that's right, you and me, create solutions for our retirement assets. He works diligently to develop programs that carefully balance investment strategies while preserving principles, and so much more. So, without further ado, we can bring up our guest, Mr. James Herbert Hunt, and let's welcome him in true Monday Beyond the Mics fashion.
Well, you are mute, sir, but welcome, welcome, welcome. You're on mute.
Let's see if we can.
Ah,
There you
good.
go.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Alrighty. Um, yeah, let's chat about finances. Um,
Oh, well, wait, before we dive right in, I like it. He's like, let's talk about this money right now. Let's not wait. So we love it. So we just, as Lady Dawn B welcomed you in, and we want people to understand. Or let me ask this question that I did not ask for the people in the chat. Are you ready to grow what's in your wallet? If your answer is whatever your answer is, put in the chat and tell us why. So, Mr. Hunt, I was about to call you Dr. Hunt, but
all
Mr. Hunt, take it away. What should we know
right.
about finances?
Well, obviously they're very important, and money makes the world go round. Money is brings joy in relationships. You need it. You need it to eat. You need it to dress well. You need it to go to school. You need to go to church. All those things, and it is something that gets people in trouble if they don't have it. 60% of the American people couldn't afford a $600 or $700 or $800 car bill if their tires blew out or their transmission blew out, and that's sad because we're the richest country in the world. And a lot of folks are struggling and going paycheck to paycheck. And these folks do not plan to fail; they fail to plan. and you must be intentional if you want to get ahead in life financially. You must focus in on it. You cannot spend more than you make, and if you discipline yourself, let me give you an example. You don't even have to do a retirement plan. You take your salary and whatever it is. Let's say it's $50,000. You drop two zeros off, and you should be saving what? $500. If you make 65,000, you drop two zeros off, you should be saving $650 a month. If you're making $125,000, you drop two zeros off that, you should be saving $1,250. So now everybody knows their number because everybody knows their salary. So there's no excuse, right? Whatever it is. And you drop two zeros off, and that's what you should be saving and investing. Saving, because a piece of that money needs to go into a checking account or a savings account for emergencies. And then the other piece needs to go towards retirement. And if it's a choice between retirement and your kids' college education, your retirement's more important. The kids can always borrow to go to school. And
Wait, so let wait. I just want to, because you're giving a lot. You're giving a lot of good
all right.
information, sir. I definitely. I mean, in the chat, if this is good information, say something to us. Let Mr. Hunt know we appreciate his presence. I want to pause at what you said about, because I never heard that. Whatever you're making, drop two zeros. Has anyone else heard that? Maybe I'm the only person that never heard
That's
that
the
before.
first.
Yeah.
So I think that's such a great rule. So can you just like elaborate a little bit
Yeah,
on that?
because essentially that's, I guess, about 10% of your salary. And so everybody should be saving 10 to 12, 15% of their salary if they can. It's tough if you're in New York or New Jersey because it's tough living. But if you can't, and if you can't, now you know what your stretch goal is, right? So if you're making $50,000, 500 is at least your stretch goal. Maybe you can't get there today or next week or in 6 months, but ultimately you need to start from somewhere and then get there. So you don't quit until you get to that magic number, whatever your salary is. And so that's one of the easy things that people can remember. They don't remember what an exchange traded fund is and a mutual fund and all this stuff, but they do know what their number is. So when you at the end of this session, you'll know that hey, Jim Hunt told me take my salary, drop two zeros off, and that's what I should be saving and investing on a monthly basis. Because ideally, you want to have at least 3 months of your expenses. So if your expenses are $1,000 a month, you want to have like 3 months in a checking account, savings account, credit union, or money market account. Because that's your emergency money. Any money you're going to need over the next 18 months should be in a safe place. A CD, a credit union, a money market fund, a savings account, excuse me, or a checking account. Because that you're going to have to touch it, and you don't have time to really invest in the market for that piece of your money. Then, because that's short term, 18 months is short. 18 months or less is short term. Then once you get out 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, that's when you can start looking to invest. What we call a full investment cycle, which is 4 to 5 years. All right, that's 4 to 5 years. If you have that long of a time horizon for this money, then you should have that money invested in either stock mutual funds, bond mutual funds, or real estate mutual funds. All righty.
Oh, okay.
So
Listen,
yeah, so okay.
wait. So I'm at Mr. Hunt. I know. I, I feel like you just, we're not gonna let you just drive by and just drop all of these jewels on us, because we want to take it in and
All right.
learn.
Yeah.
Um, and
Mm-hmm.
we have some comments. Crystal said, "This is new to me." Me too, Crystal. We the same. We in the same. And she said, "Great rule." Thank you, Crystal. Thank you for joining us. And a part of it is one of the reasons why we titled this "What's in Your Wallet," is the ability to know that there's a lot of things that we don't know, right?
Right.
I'm in my 50s. I never heard that rule before. And I'm thinking, wow, what if someone told me that? We heard of 10% goes to, your tithes and to your tithes, but no one said, well, just take this as a simple rule to keep in your head. Um, so yeah, thank you. And as Anae said, could please, people, please hit the little button for us, please and thank you. She said,
Just like
everyone, please, you know,
just that.
gently press the thumbs up button when you have a moment. Thank you. Thank you. So, all right,
Mm-hmm.
Lady Dawn, what
Um,
question you have?
I do have a question. We have good questions,
Yeah.
and that's good information. And thank you again. I agree with Elaine. I never, Dr. E. I did not hear that. Um, I heard you need to have, at least 3 months. My father was like stickler about that. He said,
Right.
but um, but you need something beyond that. So, question is, what's the biggest money mistake you see people make, and how can they avoid it?
Ooh. Um, the biggest one is to once you get a good salary, you know, and then you start to say, I need this car. And instead of getting a used car, you're going to get a new car. And as we know, when you get a new car, the cost of car insurance is high. Once you get to a used car or pre-owned, as they called it, that's the politically correct term, right? Pre-owned, but it's a used car. Your car insurance goes down, so you're paying less money. So you're already saving. One is the cost of the car drops dramatically because the minute you drive off that lot, that value of that car doesn't go up, does it? It goes down. So if you want to drive off that lot and back in and say I
Not
don't
at all.
like it, well, they're not going to give you the same price. So but that's one of the big things that I found. Um, the other thing is trying to help people that are worse off than yourself. I find that the reason why folks are not financially successful is because someone in their life is draining them because they're always helping them, bail them out of their drama, and they get into trouble. And a drowning person will do what? Pull you down and drown you. So that's what the one thing I find is you have someone in your life that is helping you spend your money. And as you see it with athletes and entertainers, right? They're paying all their buddies rent and paying all their buddies cars and everything else. And it doesn't matter. I found in life, if you're making $100,000, you're spending 110. If you're making $50,000, you're spending 55. And because you really don't have 55, do you? Or 50,000, because you got to pay taxes. You do have to live somewhere, and you need to eat. And so, but those are the basic things. Is someone in your life that's is draining you, and you're in, and you can't get them out. The problem is you can't get them out of your life if it's a child, special needs. You can't get them out of your life, right? If it's your mother and she raised you and all that, you're not going to get that. But folks that are your sorority sisters or something like that, you got to say, I know you're on my line and all this, but no, I gotta get myself ready, because again, if you don't have this first 3 months of emergency money, you can't give them what you don't have, and it's sad, but you can't. And so that's it. And then the cost of again, car insurance, um, and then the other thing is that the cost of even medical care. More and more firms are having their employees pay more towards their medical care. When I first got out of Howard University, uh, my first job, First Pennsylvania Bank in Philadelphia, the medical plan didn't cost me anything, and I didn't even have a deductible, you know, and I didn't even carry the card in. I would just say, "Hey, I work at First Pennsylvania Bank." They would call over to First Pennsylvania Bank, and they would get my number because I'm 22 or something, and and never going to the doctors. But the only time I go is when I'm twisting my ankle playing basketball. But it was crazy. I knew I had insurance, and they called over. Now those days are long gone, and they got deductibles and everything else. So
You scared to get sick? No,
yes,
with insurance.
that's exactly right.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
No,
and
that was good
Wow.
stuff.
but yeah, so that's but that rent now depending on a lot of folks or some folks want to be on their own, so they don't want a roommate. But if you have a roommate, in fact, one of the jobs, my second job was at Owens Corning Fiberglass, and I was in sales there, and we were in Atlanta, Georgia, and I had my own apartment, and but three of the white guys that were working with me, those three got a townhouse, got a 3-bedroom townhouse. They were paying $300 each, $100.
Mm.
See. So if you have a roommate, that movie, Single White Female Looking for a Roommate type thing. If you have a roommate, you can split that rent. And
I need a roommate. No.
and so, but that's
Can't split.
yeah. So, but $100, and remember, we were in sales. We had a company car. We didn't have a car. We didn't have car insurance. Gas was on the company, and we had a new car every 2 years. So that was free money. But I was paying $350 by myself. But those guys, they $100 a piece. So it's a lot of little things you can do that you can save money and do some things. Now you have to give up some things too, because you got two other roommates. That's and one doesn't do right and all that. But that is a way of doing it and dropping your expenses. And there's others.
That's good. So I need a roommate and I need a job that gives me a company car and a gas card. Okay,
Yes.
so I'm changing my life, right? Let's look and see who's in the chat. We have some people talking.
I ain't gonna do it.
You sure? Yes, you are. So Teray, she said, "Hey, Dr. E. Hey, Dr. T. How are you? Thank you for joining us this evening." And Steph said,
Okay.
"Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Steph. And thank you, sis, for joining us." I'm going to let you have that one. Go ahead, Lady Dawn.
Hi,
And you're
mommy.
going to read her comment.
That's my mom, y'all. She says, "Good evening, everyone. Great information. But I just want to say, it ain't me pulling her down."
Yeah.
My pockets is wide enough for my mama. She don't take a whole lot. She don't take a lot. It's not her. It's the children. It's
Oh,
the
God.
child.
All right.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is great. I mean, I think, and in the chat, if this is helpful to you, let us know. Talk to us and press the like button while you're talking to us, because I'm taking notes, because I want to be better. And I think that that's the goal of
Yeah.
Mondays Beyond the Mic, to help us learning together. Because if I'm better with my finances and he's better with his finances, then we can work better together. And finances is not going to be an argument, because finances is the top 3, if not the number 1 reason why people get divorced.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just want to park right there on that. But Lady Dawn B,
And
next question.
Sure. And I just want to add before the next question, simply real quick, that it reminded me, you said about helping people. And it reminds me of I want to say it's biblical, but I'm not gonna say it's biblical because I can't find it right now. But if you teach a man to fish, if you give a man a fish to eat for a day, but if you teach a man to fish, he can eat for life. And that was something that, again, my dad and my mom, taught us about how we extend ourselves to help others, because that person, if they're not disciplined enough to to keep themselves out of, or to get themselves out of whatever financial bind they're in, how are they going to pay you back, as well as, keep going? And also to remind you, so that was really good. We don't think about it. I think we get caught up on the emotion of feeling guilty of helping people or not helping people, but it's the way we help people.
Yeah.
I want to help you to help you. I want to tell my son all the time, get out of my pockets. Oh, I have it, but I don't have it for you. You're going to have to walk to work today. So our next question is, how can someone start investing if they feel like they don't have enough money?
Yeah. And that's sad because you can start a mutual fund, which is nothing more than an investment vehicle where you have a professional money manager with as little as $25 or $50. It's very minimum anymore today. And so, but boy, that's difficult. That means that you really need to take a look at your budget and find out where you're spending your money. And but that's key. A lot of folks do not have budgets because they think it's a waste of time or they don't want to do it. But once you get behind, you got to have a budget. And if you don't, and then you start paying your bills late, then your credit goes. We know where that is. And prime example, my daughter, she's in Manhattan, and she's a social media manager, and so she's doing well, but she's not doing that well that she could get an apartment in Manhattan on her own. So I had to be the person stepping up to help her do that. And so it goes to show you. In fact, they asked her that she has $7,000 sitting in a checking account, and it's crazy. So no, I had to give up all my finances and give them that tax returns, 5 months of what's in my checking account, what's in my pension, and all that in my retirement plan and everything. And then they went on, and I had very good credit. And so that's how she got in. But that's a shame because she's a graduate of Howard and she's been out and she's doing well. But, Manhattan rent is crazy.
Wait, all of that for an apartment?
Yes, in Manhattan, Dr. E. Yes. Now the average rent in Manhattan, as you know, it's $4,000, and she was around 2,650, and she wanted to move down, and she did, and she got it for about 2,200. But even that, I had to put up, show them all my stuff, and I did, and everything. But hey, she's lucky because everybody, doesn't have someone to do that, and then you got to go out and get those grantors, and they'll put up their money, but they're going to charge you for putting it up, because if you don't pay that rent, as I tell my daughter, make sure they pay their rent and on time, because it goes on my credit, not hers.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the thing, and she will, and all that, but it's grown up time. It really is, and the average rent in Manhattan is $4,000. That is unbelievable. So that's why when we first started, we started talking about how important money is. Money is extremely important if you want to live in certain areas and everything. It just is, and she found that out. Not that she didn't know, but she really found it out this time, and so it's something that we have to do, and then it allow and the other thing too, she has to settle down too, just like the other young folks is. They can't go to all the plays and the ball games and the MEAC tournaments and the CIAA stuff. You can't do it all right now. You can do some, go back to Howard homecoming weekend. Then you want to go to Morgan's homecoming. I mean, it adds up. None of it's
Absolutely.
super expensive, but it adds up at the end of the day. And
I like.
yeah, yeah.
Can I ask
So
though? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dr. E.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say with what you just shared about how simple it really is to start saving, where we think that we don't have enough money. A lot of people don't know, because we hear these terms and these different saving buckets, and don't know what they really are and what they mean. So we think that it's not for us. So my quick question would be, do you find that the issue with finance is more mental than it is really about resource? Because in a sense, as long as you have something to work with. It's how you work it. But if you think you don't have enough, you won't have enough.
Yeah, that's it too. And again, it's not what you make, it's what you keep too, because taxes are important. And if you don't save for retirement and you don't have other tax deductions, then you have to pay the full freight to Uncle Sam. And one of the benefits of a 401k or 403b is when you put money aside, um, even if you save $2 a day, what's that? In 30 days on average, that's $60 a month. You're throwing away $2 a day. You're throwing away $2 a day. Um, I guess one of the examples that we all know, Dunkin' Donuts coffee and Starbucks coffee. You do Dunkin' Donuts coffee once a day, and you don't do Starbucks. Now that's $3 or $4, and if you add that up a day, it's pretty easy to save money, and you don't have to have it, and you need to save and invest and keep it. Let me give you another example. There's a Pioneer Fund out there that was started in like 1927. And I showed an example of that it was saving $100 a month in there. And I said to a group of teachers, because my mother was a teacher, I said that, look, if my mother, I said, in fact, if my grandmother would have set aside $100 a month for my mother, and what is $100 a month? $5 a day, 5 days a week, 4 weeks, $100. All right. And when my mother got out of Howard, and my grandmother would have went to her and said, "Look, sis, before you get out the house and get your first car and apartment, I was saving $100 in this mutual fund, and I want you to take over from here." And let's say my mother did. These numbers are impossible way back in those days for anybody to save it, but it's not impossible today. And so the first 22 years or 21 years, my grandmother would save that money for it. And then my mother, starting her career, would have saved $100 of her teacher salary and never increase it, and go to 62. And why did I pick out 62? Because you can retire early as 62. So that's 40 years of saving. And if you went all the way over to the far right, because it's a stock fund, my mother would have had $34 million, saving $100 a month for what my grandmother would have started her and what she would have done on her own, and never increased it. Because again, if your salary goes up, you're supposed to save more money. She wouldn't have, let's say she wouldn't have just stick with that $100 and the power of compounding and dividends and capital gains. That is incredible. And so could she give $1 million or $2 million to the church? Could she give $1 million or $2 million to Howard University? Could she give $1 million or $2 million to the Urban League? Yeah, when you got $34 million. And that's not including Social Security, and that's not including her teacher's pension, is it? No.
Correct.
See?
Wow.
So,
All right.
Lady D, you're right. People try to complicate this thing. It's not complicated. Putting away $5 a day. And it's $5 if $100 was too much, you cut it in half. $50 a month. You divide what 34 million in half. That's 16. Was that 16 million or so? 17? If my math is right. And that was too much. So let's knock it down again. $25 a month. That's not even $1 a day. It's 30 days in a month. What's that? About 8 or 9 million.
We'll
So
take it all.
there
Yeah.
you go. You see?
So
So yeah, go ahead, Doctor.
I want to thank you, and like I said, I think this is so rich. I'm like taking notes, and I have questions, but I see we have some questions in the chat, so I want to be able to address some of our comments and questions. So Stephanie, you want to pull up Stephanie's?
Yes.
Oh, so Miss T said, "Great, yes, great information. I learned something new too." And Vaughn said, "Blessings all." And Steph says, "Frugal living, make short-term sacrifices to gain long-term benefits."
That's right.
Absolutely. And Crystal said, "This is a question." She says, "As we are living in this crazy financial time, what are the best investment opportunities to create additional streams of income, or should we wait until next year?"
No, you shouldn't wait till next year. It's never a bad time to make a good investment. And yes, you can. A lot of people say, "Hey, I want to be in real estate and everything else." Well, you can invest in a real estate mutual fund, and you have a well diversified portfolio, and it pays dividends because that's the way they're structured. And those dividends can be reinvested, and those dividends will buy more shares. And when the fund goes down, those dividends buy what? More shares. And so yeah, you can have a top-notch real estate portfolio. You can even invest in a global real estate. So you can have real estate properties in London and Toronto and Hong Kong, all over the world. There's some, but America's not the only place where it's got good real estate and investment in properties. And so yeah, it opens the whole world. You get an annual report, so you'll know what you own, and and you can start a real estate portfolio instead of people wanting to have a multifamily and they get in. And that's another thing with some of my clients. They've done that, and then folks get downsides, God bless them, and they can't pay the rent. And and now you're kind of stuck, or the roof goes, and wear and tear on the roof. That's real. That's nothing. That's unrealistic. But you got to have the money set aside for that. And but you don't have to put up with that headache and cutting grass and shoveling snow and all that. You can invest in what they call real estate investment trusts, and
Okay.
those mutual funds. Yeah, and you can have a stock mutual fund. Remember, stock is ownership in a company, and when they pay a dividend, that's your profits, right? You pay a dividend, and that's your profits, and you need to reinvest those profits back into, so like J&J, right? We all know that company. That company pays. They've been paying a dividend and increasing their dividend every year for the last 65 years. Haven't missed a beat. All right. So there's a lot of companies out there that have been paying dividends for 100 years, 75 years. And dividends are nothing more than the profits of the company, and they give it to who? The shareholders, because you're the actual owner of the company. And you don't have to have a lot of money to get going. You, for $100, you can put $50 in a real estate mutual fund and $50 in a large company stock fund, and you're off and running. And then when you get another $25 or $50, you can go international, and then another $50 or $100, and you can put it in high yield bonds, I mean, the world is full of opportunities, and you have a diversified portfolio. Now, even like Bitcoin and crypto are starting to have exchange traded mutual funds and exchange traded funds and things like that. So, um, but it's an exciting world out there, and you don't have to have a lot of money to get going.
Okay.
Index universal life policies is a way to go
So,
too.
yeah, well, thank you, Michael. And Michael's coming back. Basically, some things that we're going to talk about next week because we want to just grab into the things like you were talking about 401ks, 403bs. And I'm going to ask this question because some people may not know what's the difference between a 401k and a 403b.
Yes, 401k. They're basically tax codes in the in that the government provides for folks to save for their retirement. Normally, 401ks are profit making companies, although nonprofits can open up a 401k too. And a 403b is for nonprofits. It could be a school district or it could be a foundation that you're working for. Then they have the 457s, which are state employees and things like that. So, and then for people that are entrepreneurs, they can open up a simplified employee pension, a SEP IRA. And you can do that. Or if you're an independent contractor, if you're a real estate agent or life insurance agent or a property and casualty or anybody else, an attorney with their own shingle out there, architect with their own shingle out there, anybody who's an independent contractor can start a SEP IRA. And there's a few companies, and I do have clients in them, is a one person 401k. And that one person 401k, you can do that, and you can even do a single 401k for Roth, as opposed to a traditional 401k. You do a Roth 401k where you do not get the upfront deduction, right? But the money goes in after tax, and it grows tax deferred, and when you take it out, it's tax free. Because remember, Uncle Sam either gets us in the wash or gets us in the rinse, right? So if they give you the upfront deduction on a 401k, they allow to grow tax deferred, but then you have to take the money out. And at 73 now, they up the age, but at 73, you have a required minimum distribution, RMD, required minimum distribution, because they want the money back. Okay. And the reason why they give it to you up front is because usually in your working years, you're making the most money, and supposedly in your retirement years, you're making less money. So you got the deduction when you're in the high tax bracket, and when you take it out, you're in the lower tax bracket. So that's why. But what I found, quite frankly, if you're successful folks do not fall down on their tax bracket because they're successful in life, and that means that they're always going to be in a higher tax bracket. But that's the reasoning for the and they giving you incentives, because once Uncle Sam gives you something, they take away from another area, right? So they're giving you the opportunity to do a SEP IRA. They give me opportunity for a traditional IRA. They give me an opportunity for 401ks and 403. Why? Because they're saying Social Security is probably not going to be there in the form that we know it as now. So because when they give it, when Uncle Sam gives you something in one area, they usually take it away. Now they haven't been able to take it away, and they probably will never take it completely away, but you'll just be taxed on it. If you're successful, you'll just be taxed on more and more of your Social Security. And
Wow.
and so, but that's what happens. That when they give you something in one area, they're going to take it away in another.
Wow, this is so rich to me. And I know we definitely have to have you back.
Yes.
I have a question because, what are some of the financial myths that hurt Black and Brown communities the most? I'm quite sure, as you are a HBCU grad, as we heard, HU, the real HU,
Yeah.
what are some of the things that you've seen that you say, you know what, if people of color understood this or dispelled this myth, um, what could change some
Yeah,
financial
the
trajectory?
biggest thing is a lot of folks think they need a lot of money to get going, and they don't. Okay, and I've given you several examples that you can start a mutual fund with as little as $25 or 50 or 75, and you're in the game. You're already in the game, and it's just a matter of how bad you want it. Because every time you knock out one of those credit cards or something, boom, you jump in and you jump and you get it. You know, let's say if you're paying 100, let's say a car, you're paying 350 for a car, and it's in the 4 years, boom, and then you go ahead and you say, I'm gonna keep this car for 2 or 3 years, and you save and invest that money because hey, because if not, it you'll find a way to spend that money. It's almost like when you get a raise, you say, darn, where'd that money go? Because there's always something nibbling at you. There's always a door that has to be painted, or a floor, of a wall that has to be painted, or whatever. So
A
those
kid that
those
has to be fed. I don't know.
yeah,
Go ahead.
all those things, all of those things, and then you know whether and then if there's a slow learner, you got the tutor you have to pay. So it's always something. But once you get it, if you have to pay yourself first, right? You've heard that everybody says pay yourself first, because if you pay yourself first, you won't get used to the money because they've already taken it from you. It doesn't even hit your checking account. It goes right to that institution. And that's really the way of putting together a enforced savings plan. So and so that's what I have found, that they don't know that they can get going without having to start the mutual fund with $10,000 because they think you have to.
All right. So, I mean, again, I love it. I would ask this question: what's one habit that separates financially successful people from others? Would you say is that paying yourself first? Would you say so? Basically, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Bravo. We should pay yourself first. So we need to get in the habit. And I don't even know. I mean, it could be men and women, but I'm just going to speak. I know a lot of times for women, we like to leave ourselves for last. We'll take care of everybody else. Right. And then we'll take care. It's like whatever's left over. Then I'll, figure it out for myself. But what I'm hearing, if you're not already doing that, is that we need to prioritize our money matters, and that we matter financially is what I'm hearing. And just so many nuggets for me or gems and jewels that's being dropped to help us better understand how do we navigate, and maybe some lessons to your earlier point about the grandmother, and if your mother, that we can say even towards our children, maybe we didn't do this, but now we can teach some of these money habits that maybe we did not have, or we're late in learning them, and pass them along to our children so that the next generation is not like us or they're better than us.
Yes. It's like they say, you've heard this old saying, you learn first, you earn, and then you return. So you start, and with the return piece.
I never heard that.
Oh yeah. You learn, then you earn, and then you return, right? And so that's the important thing. And at the end of it, you're transferring wealth from generation to generation. And that's talk about Black and brown folks. We know that, but we haven't done it. But more and more folks are doing it. Okay, but yeah, that's the key. That's the key.
I'm normally not speechless, okay? And I just want to say, James, Mr. Hunt, that you just, Mr. Hunt, you have like opened my mind to just so many like nuggets that you're dropping. I mean, just that learn, earn, return. Never heard that. Am I the only one? As the talk to me as y'all hit the like button. Is am I the only one? Have you ever heard that, Lady Dawn B?
No, ma'am, you got company in this not knowing area. Yeah,
Oh,
never. We both today days old when we learned this.
so
Yeah.
between that and drop the zeros and like this is just like mind blowing. And thank you, Steph. Steph says, I haven't heard that either. And I think what it is, thank you, Miss T said, I know, so we are not alone. We are all this today's old when we're discovering this. And I think it is so valuable because these are not the conversations that we're having. We're having relationship conversations, which are nice. But once you get into those relationships, if we don't have an understanding of how you handle money, how I handle money, what are my thoughts, how did I grow up about money, because I believe it's our habits that we have formed through learning and watching our parents or those around us of how we deal with money, good, bad, or indifferent. But I think the beauty is when we're having information like this, we are not limited to doing it the old, and I'm going to say the incorrect way or being misinformed because maybe our parents or whoever we learn these habits from, they were doing the best they could with what they had. A lot of times we have more now, but we have less because they weren't shopping till they drop and all this other stuff. They understood money better. So
Right.
yeah, I go ahead. You Dr. Jim tonight. Dr. Hunt, speak to us.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So it is easy, but it's hard. Okay. It's like some folks say the game of basketball is easy, but it's hard to play. And it's hard to discipline yourself because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And they're not. And 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 so it is. And if I could talk a few minutes about folks getting ready to retire and things like that. In retirement, you have the three phases of retirement. You have your go-go years, you have your slow-go years, and you have your no-go years, right? So from like 65 to 75 are your go-go years. And then from 75 to 85, you start to slow down. And then 85 plus are your no-go years. And at some point, you're out there on the porch and you're rocking yourself and just waiting for the Lord to come get you. And so, but you need to be able to make it through when you have those go-go years every day Saturday, right? And Saturday we spend more money than we do sometimes during the week because every day Saturday in retirement. So we got to make sure we have our fixed costs and our variable costs in line. And then the third thing is our bucket list, right? So when we talked about the four-legged stool, when you and I were chatting, four-legged stool is one leg is Social Security, and husband and wife. There's two checks that they're going to get on a monthly basis. And then the second leg is a pension. And I'm talking about a pension where they're sending you a check on a monthly basis. Most people do not get a pension anymore. So then you take a look at an annuity to guarantee that income stream. So now you're going to get four checks. You're used to getting four checks, and I'm going to provide four checks for you. Then the third leg of that stool is 401ks, Roth IRAs, 403bs, 457s, etc. And then the fourth leg is real estate, savings, mutual funds, anything not in the qualified area. Qualified money is that money that you can grow tax free and go from there. But that four-legged stool was important because, as I tell folks, I don't like having a person with a two-legged stool because they'll fall over, they'll tip over. That four leg gives you stability. And if you do the right thing, it's easy to develop that four-legged stool. In fact, I just had a client whose father died in 96, and he said, Jim, he was getting ready to not have any more money and other than Social Security coming because he had lived that long. And so it's important. And for the women out here, you definitely don't want to be a bag lady, right? So, in fact, women have to save more than the guys. Why? Because women live longer than the guys. Yet women go in and out of the workforce, and sometimes they don't make as much as the guys. But the burden is on them to save more than the guys because they're going to live longer than the guys. And so don't sit around and just let your husband handle the stuff. You got to be sitting right up in there, and you got to learn with him. Because if your husband dies, I've had, when I was in banking, there's many a time when a widow was at my desk, didn't know. Husband worked at Exxon and didn't know this, that, and the other, didn't know what stock was, and he had a lot of things, and she was all right, but she was crying at my desk. I was 22 years old because he just handled everything for her on that part, and she didn't get involved with the investment advisor or the stockbroker or whoever is doing their stuff at that time. So don't say, oh, my husband will handle it. No. You got to know, because you're going to women outlive men by about 6, 7, 8 years longer. So that means you're going to be by yourself. My father died in 1990. My mother died in 2001. Okay, so that's 11 years by yourself. And so it's important. If someone has a stroke or whatever, maybe you have to take over those decisions. You may have to take over checking accounts and investment accounts and everything. You got to know and make sure these are not a foreign language to you. So again, remember, women outlive the guys, so they have to save more than the guys.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, besides thank you, but it's like that's doesn't do enough justice. And for those that are watching, you'll see that Mr. Hunt's information is going across the banner tonight about what's in your wallet. But we also want, because I believe in wrapping up, I want to ask if you will come back next week so that we can do a part 2. And if someone says, you know what, I really want Mr. Hunt, Dr. Hunt tonight, Dr. James Hunt, to come and help me, is here. It is, if we can stick it in the chat, but it is going across the banner that you say, I want to make an appointment. I want to sit down. I want you to help me evaluate my life. I ask, how do people get in touch with you? I mean, we know you're going to be back on Mondays Beyond the Mic, because he's our financial advisor now. But how could they get in touch with you?
Yes, you can call me at 973-714-3508. And you can get a hold of me there, or leave a message and I'll get back to you. Or you can email me, or you probably can go through my website but I would call or email, but I even have a website that you can contact me through.
So if somebody can put it in the chat, we have 908-566-1997, correct?
My telephone number is 973.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was 973. Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, 973-714-3508, which is my cell.
Okay. And then your website, if they want to go on the website.
It's www.james dot James H Hunt.com. James
Okay.
H Hunt.com.
JamesHhunt.com. All
Yes.
right. We thank you. Um,
Thank you
yeah,
for having me. I enjoyed it.
we enjoyed you. Yeah, it's like right. We ask that you hit the like button, and next week if you like the people or you love the people in your life, invite them back as we talk about what's in your wallet part 2. And he's Dr. James Hunt tonight is going to elaborate next week. And if you really love the people in your life, share this video with them, share this information, because it is not just about us in the here and now, it's about the future generations. What's in your wallet? What are we leaving? What's that legacy piece? And Lady Dawn B, I feel like I've been talking a lot tonight, because I'm just like, oh my God, the four-legged stool, learn, earn, like, okay, I got work to do. Lady.
Um, well, I was buffering a little bit, so I missed what you said towards the end. I heard the four-legged stool. What did you say after that? I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying some of my takeaways of things like I never heard. And what are your thoughts as we wrap up for tonight?
Oh, I loved it all. I have been taking notes. Learn, earn, return. Pay yourself first is that's the main one for me. Um, because I understand that, we can live without what we can live without, but we convince ourselves that we can't. If we can make it work on the back end, why not, discipline yourself to take it from the front and pay yourself first so that you have something in the long run. Um, I love the fact that you shared the simplicity of starting a mutual fund, something as simple as that, as we think that it takes so much more. But that simple $25 to $50 just to get started. And that it's never too late to start. Today is a good day to start. Matter of fact, yesterday was an even better day to start. But today is a good day to start. And Dr. James has got, we got you here, Dr. Hunt has got you. We got you here. So thank you. Those are my takeaways for tonight. I'm saying I got all kind of, you know.
So I just want to say again, thank you, Mr. James Hunt. You are the money doctor. That is what we're going to call you. You are the money doctor here on Monday night. And we appreciate you. We look forward to next week's show. Like I said to everyone who's listening, bring some people back with you. Hit that like button, share this video with someone, because this is not just about us in the here and now. It's also, I'll say again, about those future generations, the habits that we did not have, that we can teach our children, and maybe from some of you that are grandparents to your children's children. So we want to be better. We want to show up better, not just we want to be emotionally intelligent, but we also want to be financially responsible. So thank you everyone for watching tonight. We hope I know you enjoyed the show. I don't even have to ask I know you enjoyed the show. And we will see you next week. Same time. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
All I do is try to construe this life of mine, and soon one day I'll be able to say I made my way. Don't give up, keep on coming. Don't give up, no, never done. I can be enough. Keep on coming. No, you got it.
Okay, Mr. Hunt.